Morning. Hey, still morning. You got a pretty big one on the mill. This video right here, waiting for my wife to come home with the dog, so I'm prepping to start this log. So this video, if you're wondering if there's going to be any cutting, you might want to zip to the end because I'm not sure when I have to stop this part, but I'm going to cut this log. So there is going to be milling involved. I don't know what I'll call this one yet or how I'll save it. But if you're watching the beginning, got a big log on here. See, this is the small end. The big end's down by the saw. And I'm a little unsold on this. I think that when I'm cutting smaller logs, I'd like to have the small end down by the saw so I can figure out cant size. On something this big, I think I'd rather have the big end down by the saw so that if I'm going to run into a clearance problem, I'm going to run into it down there right away. So I don't get all the way down the end down here and then have to try to figure out how to cut myself out. So with the big end down there, I'm going to figure out my clearance problems faster. This log is on the small end, it's 30 across that way, it's 29 up. The big end, I can't really get at it, but let's just say it flares out. It's this log is, it looks the way, and I'll show you, it looks like the way I have it on here, I'm okay. So what I'm looking for is up in that top right, whether I'm gonna have clearance for that blade guide. You can see the blade guide sticking down by that round sticker. Obviously I couldn't slab this log, it's too big, but it looks like I have clearance to make a top cut. On this side, it looks like I might have clearance to make a top cut. I'm gonna have to see when I raise the head up whether it clears this corner right here, whether it clears up in here or not. Hopefully it will. If not, I'm probably going to debark some of this. This bark's pretty loose, so part of what I'm going to do right now to prep to get ready to cut this is I'm going to pull off my tongs. I threw it on with the tongs. Speaking of it, I should have thrown my forks back on, but I didn't know if I was going to take this off the mill. I'm going to take the grapple tongs out of it. Going to debark some of it. We'll raise the head up. We'll see if we have clearance down there. I'm going to run the metal detector over it quick because it's a butt log. It's definitely an old tree. It's white pine. I need to fill the rest of this order right here. God damn this thing. Hold on. Why is this happening? This order right here, I need 42 by 8s, 12 feet long, or 11.4 minimum. I have 27 right now, so I need 13 out of this, which is going to be about a little less than half of the cant, I think. The cant size on this 28 is going to be around 20 inches, 19 inches. So I should get at least 9 out of one side and a couple out of the other side. And then I'm probably going to leave what's left of the cant and take it off as a cant and save it to cut later. And I need a few 16 footers, but that's a whole different setup. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull those tongs out. I'm going to do some debarking, and we'll run the metal detector over it. We'll kind of give you this view over here in the sunshine. It's got some definitely got some dirt in the bark, and it's I've got a fresh blade. Well, the blade that I used, the band that I used in the last video that I swapped out to is on the mill right now. The burr is still on the top of the teeth because it only cut clean wood. I felt the thing when I took it off the other day. I do take them off when I'm done milling now, Somebody talked me into that. If they don't rust in place, just throw them back on when I come out. When I took it off, the burr from grinding that band, the burr was still on the top of the teeth. So it's basically like brand new reshock for me. These Timber Tough grapples are great. This part right here, all I do is roll the bucket back and this clips on the cutting edge. Someday I will make some mounts for my forks, something that's simpler, but right now that's what I have. It will lift anything. They're strong enough to lift anything I have. This log is so heavy, so my machine will pick up around 5,000. I've never had a log I couldn't pick up. I've got some monsters here. So, you know, I've got 20 footers here. I've got monster oak here. You know, up there, I've got monster black oak, white oak, you name it. Maple, elm. I have never had a log that I could not pick up with my machine. I've had them close. This one is close. This one actually, when I picked it up with the grapples, it actually was making my machine light. This is a 10,000 pound machine. I think it's 9,600. So I was actually a little light in the back end. I don't have any counterweights on it, but I was actually a little light in the back end with this. I picked it up no problem. But it was actually making me feel a little bit, because I was kind of down this hill here, it was making me feel a little tippy. So let's do this. Let's do some debarking. And if you just did it for the sawing, this might not be the video for you. I did a full kind of like quick maintenance on everything. I greased my wheels. I took all the sawdust off my belts, checked my guides, everything. When I put the band on, put ATF in my track wipers, put ATF on my carriage adjustment lever, the friction brake. So I'm pretty much ready to go. It's one of the first times too that was interesting that I haven't had the ceramic blade guides were perfect. I didn't have to touch them. It's one of the first times I've never had to touch them. Probably because I called Norwood the other day looking for roller to replace them with roller guides. And after talking to Norwood, I decided to stay with the ceramics. So Norwood considers the ceramics an upgrade to their roller system. The ceramics, they consider the ceramics better. I talked to them for quite a while. I didn't mind paying for them. I just wanted an upgrade, and they told me that they do not believe that roller guides are an upgrade. So I decided not to do it. And I told them in no uncertain terms, look, this is not about money for me. You know, I'm unhappy with the fact that I have to adjust them all the time. I just want what's better. And they told me in no uncertain terms, hey, we'd love to sell you roller guides for your mill, and we have them, and we have the kit, and we'd sell it to you, but the ceramics are better. So I am going to stick with the ceramics and see if I can get better at using them. And my only complaint with the ceramics is just that I have to adjust them all the time. That's what I told Norwood. I said I don't like every time I change a band feeling like I have to adjust the ceramics. But in the same respect as that, you know, if any of you have ever seen a video where you got, you know, a mill sitting out back somewhere at somebody's house and they're milling, the mill looks like shit and it's breaking all the time, probably not getting maintained very well. Maintenance is part of the deal, so if it will keep my mill running fine or better, and I have to adjust them all the time, and so be it. Now, obviously, this is a pretty heavy log. It's probably, if I had to guess, I'd say a 4,000 pound log. You guys could do the math on it if you want. You could pump it into Google. I can't do it right now. I'd say it's a 4,000 pound log. I'm not going to be able to roll it by hand. I have to wrap a strap around it like you saw in the last video to roll it. Reason I'm demarking it before I check it for metal, this might give me a better chance of seeing it. Plus, it kind of needs some gas. And since I knew this bark was going to come right off, but all the better. It's rid of 90% of the dirt on it. That's debarking done. We'll check the thing for metal. I am going to have to shove this over a little bit. I think. Oh, actually, I can move that way. It's a great thing about Norwood is I can move this as opposed to having to move the whole log. I'd rather not. I think I would rather. Well, I don't know. It's right in the middle right now. Let's see where we're at. Cutting orders seem to be coming in fast and furious all of a sudden, which is nice. Just got another 2 more orders for mill lumber. So hopefully my dream is realized here. So as I look down the side, so I'm definitely clear on the end here. There's no reason to move that way. So I might just pull that over. Let's check out. I am tight. I think I'm tight down there. Because of that little chunk out of the log, I have a little more clearance on that guide's side than I do on the other side. I'm gonna have to raise it up. But let's check it for metal. I'm getting ahead of myself. I get a little bit crazy sometimes. If you haven't watched my video on these metal detectors, then probably you should go ahead rather than me explaining it every time. This is a Harbor Freight one. The thing works great. It's picking up the mill right here. Let's see what your view looks like. Yeah. So if there's going to be any metal, it's going to be up in here somewhere. Now, this is where you got to be careful, because if I get down here, I'm going to pick this up. So if I come down the side, it's going to pick up this, and it's going to pick up this. So you really should check it when it's not on the mill. Hopefully there's nothing underneath it. That's picking up this. There's nothing here. There's not going to be anything down by the butt because that's in the ground or on the ground. So I'm picking up the mill there. Go check the other side. Why don't you come over there with me? It's a pretty good sign. Usually when they do have metal in them, it's all over the place. Let's check this side. The most important part's going to be 5 or 6 feet up is about where it typically is. Oh, that was me. I hit the button. This. That's this. If I get close enough to it, it'll pick it up like that. That's picking up this. So right now, doesn't look like there's any metal in this log. It's awesome. a second. Mommy's home with Mommy and Danny are home. Just gonna pause you. And we're back. Danny's in the truck chilling out for a minute, and Mommy's going on Christmas errands. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna lift the saw head up, and I'm gonna see what my clearance looks like, because this log right now can come, it can go a little bit to your right, towards where it says Lumber Pro HD36v2. I'm going to give you a look down here for a second while I'm doing it. So if I can push this log over this way, I will. And if I can't, I'll move these that way. Busted my new square. Damn it. Busted my new square. Well, perfect sawmill square, so. Yeah, not paying attention. So good news from this respect. I'm only up 25 inches right now. I can go a little higher, and I'm clear on both sides. So it looks like even a log this big is no problem. Now you could tell, when you look down the side, you could tell you couldn't slab this log. You know, there's no way you'd clear this side to slab it. And you could see that this blade guide, as it got down, if you try to slab it, would be hitting also. But right here at 25 inches high, I'm clear. I can take a whole cut off at that height with no problem, and that's plenty. I would probably start with less than that. This is going to be one of those logs that I'm almost not going to care about what I get to start. The cant's going to be, it's going to be a max cant regardless, so I can saw this log more conventional than trying to think my way through it. There's plenty in this log to finish this part of the order. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move these stops over, and we will at least make a cut for you today. Should have pulled these out of here. These are all the way up. This is the good thing about Norwood right here, or one of the good things that's unique to Norwood, is that you can move these over. Now, the only benefit that I would get to push this log over might be to get access to a log dog. And I got about 4 inches I can go this way and be clear. Let me see if I can get a dog on it right now. Let's go see together. If I can't get a dog on it, I might push the log over, just because I can roll this a little bit with my hands. Well, yeah, it moves. You can't have this thing shift when you're in the middle of the cut. It looks like I might be able to dog it right here. I don't think I will. Maybe if I went up a little higher. I'm not going to have clearance. See, there's things you got to think about. If you look down here, you see where those stick out right there? Those will hit that, I think. And with a log this big, I can't get over the top of it to check it. So if that was my only point of dogging right there, I wouldn't want to undo it when I got to it, and that little nut that sticks out of that thing, or the nut on that bolt that sticks out of that carriage hits that handle. I might be able to get the middle one on it. It looks like I can probably get that one on it too. So let's see how I can get it dogged. I just got to make sure that my dog is going to be clear, because I don't want to have to undog it during the cut and have it move. If it shifts, it could break the band. It's going to mess up the cut, obviously. Kind of look like I can get on it right here. Believe me, there's not a lot of room here. That's going to hit. Maybe if I get up above that, that's still going to hit. Yep. It's going to go down. So yeah, I got it right there. I'm actually going to re-dog that. I'm going to go ahead and push in the log stop over there so that dog can grab tight. That one's definitely clear. Guys, I can't reiterate and stress enough how on big logs like this, it doesn't make a difference on a small log, but on a big log like this, and how important it is to be able to move these and how much of a luxury that is. I can't tell you how much of a luxury that is. Having to muscle big logs around like this to try to get them over against your stops, especially if you don't have a machine, is a nightmare. And when you can move these over that simply, rather than having to move the log, that is a big plus. And if you got a real serious taper or something like that, I mean, you can move one of them in, or a funky log with a big sweep in it, you can move one of them in. That's a huge bonus as far as getting a log dog to bite on one of these. Now, most of the time the log's so heavy it's not going to shift, but in this case it will, the way it is. Okay, I want to see it. Okay, so that helped a lot. I'm going to try to get this one. I don't believe that nut's going to clear right here. I'm going to try and get this one stuck in down the bottom here somewhere. Oops. Got my glove. It's not easy dogging these things down low like this. As long as it keeps it rolling, good. I don't know if I can get this one in or not, but probably not. I can't even pull it out. All right. So I think we get the top off it. So we'll go ahead and cut it. And how long are we at? 23. We'll get the strap around it. We'll get it flipped. And see how life goes from there. And it's good. This is definitely going to be a couple of parts in this, just trying to get information out. So I will give you a view from here so you can see speed of cut. That seems to be the thing that everybody wants to watch. Obviously it's going to tear right through this, and we'll get the top off it and see what happens. Oh, one thing I keep forgetting to mention is when you get way up high, this might not be the video for this, because I'll do it in a review video, my 1-year review video. When you get way up high on this mill, you get into some geometry issues with the water delivery system. And it won't water way up high. I haven't come up with a fix for that yet. I will. I think it's just a matter of replumbing it. But I'm going to do a 1-year review on this mill, probably the first of the year, and I'll include that in my 1-year review. Slabs are going to come off this side. Trash is going to go off the other side. since I have it up here, I'll show you the slab too, because it's unbelievable. You know, I'm not in it for the gorgeous wood today, but we're just cutting construction lumber. But this slab is just so awesome. It's going to be tough to see with the light, but Just gorgeous grain in it. Beautiful. I love it when they start to get those red colors in them when they've been sitting. It's a beautiful slab. Came out nice. I did feel one little dip in that slab. And show you something about how you figure out how far down to go before you flip it. Okay, so you have to calculate your, this will be instructional video. You have to calculate your max cant size. All right, your max cant size on a perfectly straight log is the biggest square that you can take out of any given circle. The exact calculation for that, if you want to do it exactly, you know, on a calculator, is you multiply the diameter times 0.70711. For stupid people like me, I just multiply by 70%. So forget the 0.711. Just not zero. Include the 0.70, 70%. So on a 10-inch cant, you'd get a on a 10-inch log, you get a 7-inch cant. It's the biggest square you can take out of a 10-inch circle, all right, mathematically. So what you do on this, when you're cutting down on a straight log, you can measure the width of your top cut on your small end. If it's less than your cant size, you're good. You don't want it to be more than your cant size, because then you're cutting into your cant. So on this particular log, it's going to be in between 19 and 20. Okay, so it would be 21 at 30. At 28, it's going to be like above 19 but below 20 inches. So let's just, if you just want to use 20 as a, I don't want to kill myself, you don't want a ton of wane. You want to cut down, but you don't want to cut down until you have 6 inches and then leave all that wane on and have to flip it again. You don't want to cut down until you have, on a log like this, 15 inches of flat, because then you're going to have a ton of wane on your cant that you're going to have to deal with later. So I want to get to about 19, 20 inches across on my flat. That means that's what my cant's going to end up being. And you don't want to get to 24, because then you're cutting into your cant. So unless you're making a usable piece. So let's go to our small end. Oh, while I'm here. So you can see the geometry problem with the hose. You know, where the hose droops, it's got to go back uphill twice to get to the nozzle there. But that's for another video. If we go down a small end here and we measure our flat width, we'll know if we should take another cut off this right now, because if we don't, we'll end up with a shit pile of wane, or we've already wrecked the log and cut into our cant, one of the two. For people that are doing this all day long on a production mill, they don't care. You know, I do care. So right now my flat is 15 inches. I want to probably take another slab off this if I have clearance. And I probably don't. But if I take a 2-inch thick slab off this, let's see where we're going to be if I do that. So I'll be at 19.5. So right now I should take a 2-inch slab off this. That's going to get me to my cant, because my cant's going to end up being about that big. So if I took a 2-inch slab off this, it's going to be edged down, and I would get a 2x8 and a 2x6 out of this piece right here. I need the 2x8. I don't need the 2x6, but I've you know, cut it for stock. So I'm going to drop down 2 inches, see if I clear, or if the clearance is a minor issue. If it's a huge issue and I'm going to break out the chainsaw right now, I'm not going to cut this again. I'm going to flip it, because my clearance is only going to get better as we go. So we're going to go down. I'll let you look from here. And we're going to drop this thing down 2 inches. See if we have clearance. That height right now is like 26.25. It looks like I have clearance for another cut, so I'm going to take 2-inch slab off this right now. You trust me when I say this, on a log this big, you want, on mills like this that aren't made to deal with logs this big, you want to take off as much as you can off each side. It's only going to make things easier later. So I am going to take another 2-inch slab off this. Just get you over here. That slab will get edged down into a 2x8 and a 2x6. So we'll fire it up, take another one off. And we'll see what we're doing for time and whether we're going to go into part 2 real quick. Tapes up here. That's what I get for bringing out an extra one. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I am getting what it sounds like to me is my band is rubbing on my back guide on one side. I don't know. I have clearance there. It looks like I've got clearance there. I'm gonna cut my face off. This clearance is kind of tight, but it definitely was rubbing on that guide right there. I'm gonna have to take a look at my tracking and see if it moved. So my guides have moved around a little bit. I can tell already I'm sitting on this guide right here. See, I'm not getting a click there. Listen to this. If you listen to this right here, I have clearance up, I don't have clearance down. Doesn't feel like I have clearance down there either. I did have clearance when I started. So either something has moved. Looks like it's got clearance. Let's take this slab off. That's gonna maybe end this video. Let's get the slab off. I kind of wish I had these sawhorses in a different spot, but they'd be in the way over here. Just gotta lift these slabs back on afterwards, and that kind of sucks. And I don't want to, I can't take up the machine because I have to worry about turning them. One thing's for sure, that you are putting a lot of pressure on this band, because this is pretty much a max cut for that saw. If you look at, wow, that's beautiful. Holy shit. What a beautiful slab. If I don't need to use this, which I probably won't, I might keep the slab. I had somebody who wanted one. Look at this slab. You're talking about probably 26 wide or so. It's beautiful. Look at the color in it. It's gorgeous. It's only 2 inches thick though, but beautiful piece. So I am going to check out my guides and everything before I go forward. I'm at 42 minutes. I'm going to kill this video. I am going to do a part 2. When you guys come back, I will have adjusted my blade guides, checked all that out. I will have rolled this log and be ready to cut again. So this is, look guys and girls, hopefully guys and girls, almost to 1,000 subscribers. Please like and share my shit now. I never asked before, really, but I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, so I'd kind of like to get to 1,000. These mills not made to cut shit this big. They say they can, yes, but they're not made to do this. They're made to cut stuff this big. That's where they shine. That's where you can fly. You can literally fly with them, because you're rolling manually, you're cutting wood, you're not putting any pressure on the engine, you're not putting any pressure on the band. This is the size that they're made to cut. This out to, like, once you get over 24, you're starting to get big for a mill like this. If you have your choice, you don't want to take logs that big. Now, all my logs get given to me. I'm not going to turn them down. I'm going to make money on this log. This mill's not made to cut stuff this big, and it's putting a big stress on this mill. So I just want to be clear about that. Just because it says it will doesn't mean that it's meant to. It's stressing out the motor, it's stressing out the band, the guides, the wheels, everything. We're right at the edge of what it can do. This is when you're wearing your mill out. That's not what this is meant to be able to do. It's no knock on the mill. This is not a slabbing mill. If I wanted to slab this log, it would be, I'd have to do it with a chainsaw. And I could slab this at 3 inches thick in an hour and a half. It would be 12-minute passes, however many passes it took me to get through it. It'd take me an hour and a half to slab this with a chainsaw mill. It's going to take me longer than that to mill this log with this mill. With turning it in the whole 9 yards, just I'm going to end up with something like this. So I can mill this. I mean, I did it the other day. It was 2 1-hour videos, right? Just a little less than 1 hour. So less than 2 hours, I ended up with that stack, 27 2x8s, plus I got some 2x6s and some 2x4s, but let's just say 27 2x8s I ended up with, 12 foot long, in 2 hours. You didn't get to see me cut the second cant, but the second cant took me 10 minutes. So that's how long it takes to cut that. I couldn't cut that with a chainsaw mill that fast, obviously. So, but to slab this, I could slab this faster with a chainsaw mill because I don't have the capacity to slab it with this. If it was just enough for it to clear, I could slab it faster with this. But you're beating the crap out of your mill, just so you know that. Your belts, your clutch, your bands, your engine, everything is right at the edge of what it can do on something this size. So I'm going to kill this. I'll definitely do a part 2. And I'll see you guys back. Thanks.